Hey, what's up you guys? WyattX Year End here, everyone's favorite YouTuber who stutters and mispronounces, and today it's that time of the year, top 10 favorite albums of 2018. Now, originally I was going to do a top 25 this year, but I figured why not waste all this time and let's just cut to the chase and talk about the 10 best, the big boys, the ones that really impacted me the most of this year. So we're just going to cut to the chase and talk about my personal favorite top 10. Now keep in mind, this is my opinion. I don't want to hear, Wyatt, where's this album, where's that album. I'm one individual, guys. I know for a fact there is so much I missed out on this year, and that's mainly because my life has been anything but consistent. I mean, work for me has been crazier than ever. I've been to Iceland. I'm planning on going to another trip to Ukraine in February, so there's just a lot of other things in my life that has come in that's kind of like sidetracked me from checking out so many other albums this year, so just keep that in mind. Also as well, it's my list, my opinion. I don't need to explain myself anymore with saying that. So before we get into the top 10 of 2018, I do have a few honorable mentions here that I want to talk to you guys about. First one being the latest Valtakunta 666. Valtakunta is a very bizarre experimental black metal band that has influences of noise and industrial that really reminds me of Mysticum, but a really trippy take of Mysticum. So if you like Mysticum or MZ412, definitely check out Valtakunta. It's a really creative, bizarre take of black metal. Then we have something that so many people slept on this year. Like, I've yet to see a single soul talk about this. The latest and debut full-length by Knokkelklang. Knokkelklang is a black metal band from Norway, and originally when you look at all their demos, it was kind of like this black metal influence with noise and industrial that played into the black metal. But this one right here, he's kind of abandoned the noise and industrial influences and really made a very emotional, lo-fi, atmospheric black metal album that I feel like is just absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. It definitely feels like a very, very mature take on DSBM, though calling this a depressive, suicidal black metal album almost comes off like an insult. But if you just really want a lo-fi, atmospheric, emotional black metal album from start to finish, Knokkelklang. So many people are sleeping on this beauty right here. Next up, for the honorable mentions, the latest Gnaw Their Tongues, Genocidal Majesty. Maurice came back fucking swinging with this bad boy. This is the most visceral he's been in years with Gnaw Their Tongues. And this is just some really heavy, bassy, punchy, power electronics infused with just terrifying black metal. And this album from start to finish is a roller coaster ride to hell. So Gnaw Their Tongues, Genocidal Majesty, definitely check that out. Then next up, we have Carpenter Brut, Leather Teeth. Easily, for me, personal favorite synthwave album of this year. Because Carpenter Brut, I genuinely feel like, is the most creative when it comes to beats and melodies and keys. With synthwave, it doesn't feel like a dime a dozen fruity type of overdramatic, synthwave. It's really fun. It has a lot of energy towards it, and the beats on here are really heavy bass toned that just have a lot of energy. And overall is loads of fun, especially the track on here, Cheerleader Effect, which has a special guest appearance by the vocalist of Ulver. So, phenomenal stuff, and easily the best synthwave album of 2018. Then last for honorable mentions of this list, Sissy Spacek, Ways of Confusion. Sissy Spacek, to me, is the definition of noise grind. And with this album right here only being 15 minutes long, which definitely does leave me wanting a bit more, what it makes up for in quantity, the quality is just bare bones noise grind as it gets. Crazy sporadic music that's just hitting you in every direction. And even though these tracks are only 2 to like 30 seconds max in length, it's just pretty much 15 full minutes of an adrenaline rush. So if you want the absolute definition of noise grind that's just loads of fun and has a lot of at least replay value, definitely check out Sissy Spacek, Ways of Confusion. Alright guys, so that's the honorable mentions. Now on to the list itself. Starting it off at number 10, we got Old Tower, Celery, Wisdom. Old Tower is bringing back Dungeon Synth to the masses, and I feel like main reason being is he takes a lot of influence from Mortis and Depressive Silence, but giving it a modern day twist, a better production, and the melodies and keys and synth on here definitely flow like fluid throughout its whole runtime. And even though it's just 30 minutes of synth and ambience being played here, it definitely captivates my attention, and I really do feel kind of immersed in the atmosphere and setting that the Spectre, the mastermind behind this project, creates with his music. And Celery Wisdom is another phenomenal addition to his discography. So if you want a perfect gateway project for Dungeon Synth, and just overall really stellar Dungeon Synth in general, the latest Old Tower right here. So that comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is the latest Tomb Mold, Manner of Infinite Forms, easily one of the best death metal albums of this year, and even though this is getting a lot of acclaim and recognition, it's well fucking deserved. Tomb Mold is a death metal band that just has this crushing vibe going on with them that is just unrelenting and heavy as balls, and definitely has a lot of influence on here, which generally feels like moments of early Graves material as being influenced on here, to even some guitar riffs that remind me a bit of some of the early Autopsy albums on here. It's a great blend of old school and new school being played here for death metal, and it's just loads of fun, crushing riffs, monstrous vocals. Everything you want in death metal, in my opinion, is on this bad boy right here. So Tomb Mold, Manner of Infinite Forms comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8 is Base Mahache, Furt. Base Mahache is a French black metal band, and this album right here definitely has like a punk type of pace going on that has just a really strong, rebellious just attitude, but with this knuckle-dragging, malicious execution on here, that it has the extravagant sound of the French black metal scene, but it's just kind of heavy and has like this marching, rebellious overall feel towards it, that it's just loads of fun and just well fucking written black metal with a rebellious attitude. And even though majority of this is just this kind of like uprising sound for black metal, some of the best moments on here is towards some of the interludes, where it has just kind of like, you know, choirs and cellos and strings and violins being played to show that it's not just this one-face, you know, aggressive album. There's a bit of intelligence, there's a little bit of more to it than with its creativity. And Base Mahache, for one of my personal favorites of this year, coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7 is Neutro Alterity, easily the most chaotic album of 2018. This is a hybrid blend of like black metal, death metal, grindcore, and noise being thrown at you for 21 whole minutes. And even though it's a fairly short album, again only being 21 minutes, you'll remember every moment of this album just hitting you over the head with just this crazy blend of all those genres going all over the place on here. And overall, it's just loads of fun, and easily, for me, the best black and grindcore album of this year. Neutro Alterity. Loads of fucking fun. I really hope these guys keep going with this project, because this, to me, is the total package for just chaos, and easily the most chaotic band on the planet Earth. So Neutro Alterity comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, so close from being in the top 5 for me, is the latest album by Spectral Wound, Infernal Decadence. Oh, it came so close. This is their debut full length, and this left me in one bit of just awe. I was totally blown away by this album, considering this is only their debut, and this is easily the best atmospheric black metal album for me of 2018. Because even though it still has the atmosphere that you would come to expect with atmospheric black metal, what I dislike about the genre, I guess, is that a lot of it has like these interlude moments with, you know, that slows down and kind of sacrifices the hard-hitting, you know, moments of black metal for more atmospheric and acoustic, you know, interludes. This album, its whole 34+ minute runtime, there's just always riffs, hooks, and strong melodic, you know, grooves coming through with this album that just make this so energetic for atmospheric black metal. And the vocals on here are just the perfect definition of what I want with black metal vocals, just having these high-pitched screams that just ooze with so much energy. Overall, from start to finish, this album is a masterpiece, honestly, for atmospheric black metal. So the latest Spectral Wound album comes in at number 6, easily atmospheric black metal album of the year for me. Coming in at number 5, we got Kitsis, Credo. Kitsis, the Canadian black metal gods, for me at least anyway, because I'm a biased fanboy. Kitsis comes back with one of their best albums to date, and easily their most consistent. Whereas other full lengths by them, they'll either go down the punk route, the raw black metal route, or the blackened punk route. They'll switch off with every song. This album right here is honestly their most consistent they've ever been, where they just stay a black metal band, still with some punk moments coming through during some of the pace and some of the vocal executions on here for blackened punk standards anyway. But what I really like about it is the drums on here. There's more blast beats being used. They're way more better mix than the past couple of Kitsis releases. And the vocals done by OT still has a lot of versatility towards it, a lot of great energy, a lot of great riffs. And overall, honestly, this is one of Kitsis' best albums they've done since their debut Goatee, which was like, Goatee back in like, I don't know, the early 2000s or late 90s. So Kitsis still fucking bringing it, even though they've been silent for 3 years. So the latest album by Kitsis, Credo, comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I think this is the only thing besides Old Tower and Carpenter Brut that's not extreme metal related, and easily for me the best non-metal album of 2018. All I'm going to say is this: it's either, for all the people who don't have this album on their end of the year list, is because they didn't listen to it. This is a work of art. And that would be Daughters with You Won't Get What You Want. Daughters finally back after 8 years of a hiatus. I know originally, from what I read, the self-titled that came back in like 2010 was supposed to be their swan songs in their last album they ever created. But so happy to see they reformed and made new music, and they reinvented themselves with this album right here, where it's still a noise rock band, yes, and they still have like some of the math rock moments with songs like what's the 2 songs on here? Satan Is in the Way and The Flammable Man. It still has like those math rock moments and those post-hardcore moments bleed through. But there's other moments too where they definitely take influence from like Swans, 9 Inch Nails. There's a lot of industrial rock being played here. There's synth and noise. But overall, they really reinvented themselves. There's slower moments on here where it generally feels like Daughters became something completely new, but didn't lose sight or grasp on the noise rock moments that made Daughters Daughters. And this album is just a work of art. So if you haven't listened to this, I know it's kind of become a meme now after Fantana's review of it, which he did a great review of it, by the way. But make no mistake about it, it's incredible noise rock and easily my personal favorite non-metal album of 2018. So Daughters, You Won't Get What You Want, comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, pretty cliche death metal album of the year for me. That would be Portal with Ion. Portal, the Australian death metal titans, comes back after, I believe, 4 years of being silent. Vexavoid was their last full length, and my god, man, I was expecting great things from Portal after Vexavoid, but not like this, alright? Because when you look at their previous albums like Vexavoid, Swarth, Outre, and Sepia, they all have that musky, dissonant, rough around the edges production that really makes just the whole playing style really fucking suffocating. This album right here, still having the Portal-esque sound that you would come to expect, is just way more beefed up. The production on here generally feels like they gained like 50 pounds of muscle. It generally feels like how these riffs are being played out. I'm like trapped in a whirlpool and my body's just being flinged around like a rag doll. This album doesn't overstay its welcome either. It's only like a little over 30 minutes long, which definitely gives off more of a replay value, but god fucking damn. Portal came back with a vengeance with Ion. It's honestly one of their best in their discography, and for me personally, I know it's kind of biased, easily death metal album of the year. So Portal Ion comes in at number 3. Alright, now the last two. Coming in at number 2, the runner-up for album of the year, came so close again this year, but these guys just can't make anything below top-tier black metal for me. And that would be Human Serpent for I, the Mythanthropist. Good God, these guys just can't do anything wrong. Alright, these guys now for me are like the new titans of Greek black metal. So many killer riffs on here that have just such infectious hooks that are just catchy. This album is so hard-hitting and fast-paced for black metal, but doesn't lose any, you know, melody or hooks, which is what makes this album just so fucking fun. And songs on here like 7 Billion Slaves, Temple of All Despair, and Us and Them, oh, I can never get enough of those songs. So for me, one of Human Serpent's best to date. It may not be as sharp as Inhumane Minimalism, but they definitely make up for it with melody on this. And it's just a really strong, beefy, hard-hitting, fun as fuck black metal album for 2018. So Human Serpent for I, the Mythanthropist comes in at number 2, runner-up for album of the year. And finally, coming in at number 1, if you know me personally, this is pretty cliche because I've been talking highly of this album since I heard it. Now originally, I gave this album an 8.5 out of 10 when I did a review for it, but after giving it more listens and dissecting it more and more, I realized this album's just straight up a 10. These guys, if you pay attention to the album, the flow of the album, the transitions, the riffs, the vocals, the production, the drums, the folk, the lyrics, just everything about this album just flows so fucking perfectly. Like every little detail about this is flawless. And it was easily, I had to change my mind and make this album of the year. And that would be the sophomore full length by Ungfell. Oh man, everything. What I love about this album, like I just stated, is the flow of the album, alright? It's not like just one side is the black metal and then the second side is just like all this kind of like folky ambient interludes and outros and whatnot that end the album. I just love how the flow is, how it starts off with, you know, ambience and folk build up to just this hard-hitting, fast-paced, savage black metal moments on here. Just every little detail about this album, especially the transitions, which are just fucking phenomenal and perfect, are just loads of fun, but yet just produced and written so fucking well to like a whole nother degree. I know last year Taupe Bring DR definitely borrowed a lot of influence from Peste Noir, but this album right here, they definitely created their own style, and I really hope they stay doing this style and becoming their own thing because it's fucking phenomenal and pretty original for black metal. And for me, it had to be album of the year. There's no competition for me. So number 1 album of the year for me is the sophomore full length by Ungfell. Every little bit of this album, from the folk interludes to the ambient interludes to the really crushing, hard-hitting, fast black metal moments on here that don't let up, just everything. Literally everything about this album I couldn't get enough of, so it was an easy pick for number 1, the latest full length by Ungfell. So yeah guys, that's my top 10 favorite albums of 2018. I'll have links provided to everything that was shown from the top 10 to my honorable mentions to what was playing in the background, all in the description below. So yeah guys, really curious to know what's your favorite albums of 2018, and like always guys, hopefully you guys discovered something new. Thanks for watching, liking, supporting, and subscribing, You guys are the best, and good listens.